Hey Kirby, how are you?
Good. I'm excited to I haven't taken an art class in a while.
Don't be scared.
Not
No
at all.
weapons will be used.
Now that you have the studio, do you also find yourself stepping out for like other jobs and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Having the studio is great because then I have a base.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for a lot of people, being a creative and having your own specific space designed for that kind of gives other people the sense of credibility, for lack of a better word. But I think also it's great because it puts me in a position where I can now branch out and do other things. So it's been a blessing so far. So today we will be going through, I'd say maybe 1 or 2 exercises. A big part of my creative process is trying to let go of the control of focusing on the end result. I think it's always nice to have something in mind when you're working hard at something, but when it comes to expression, you kind of want to let whatever's happening internally speak for itself. And if you try to control that, you'll find yourself getting stuck and also not being happy with the end result. So the first exercise that we're going to do is an exercise in just control and letting go whatever limitations you have created for yourself today. So without wasting any more time, I want you to get either your tablet or your phone and study your face for 1 minute.
Real quick.
Real quick. Study your face for 1 minute. Things I want you to consider and to focus on are the distances. You know, what's the distance between your eyebrows and your hairline?
And the jawline.
Yeah,
distance.
the jawline distance, the distance from your lower lip to your chin, all of that. The whole point of this is just, let go of the control as you're creating something, and then you can just laugh it out.
So I just need to bring this ear here.
No, that is your Picasso.
Wow.
Not even Picasso,
I'm
that is
super
your
proud.
Kirby.
This is literally me.
Yeah, that's you.
Let me ask you, Lindsay.
Sure.
What is your earliest memory of maybe a moment that made you realize I'm an artist?
Ooh. I wouldn't say I realized that I was an artist, but I realized
you actualized it.
I like to make things.
Yeah.
I'd say definitely when I was a much younger child. I'd say maybe a toddler. And I used to help my mom put up like Christmas decorations. Because we lived in a very small community in Southeast Asia on an island somewhere.
You lived in Asia?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And actually I was born in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So when we're the only African household there. And then earlier on now moving back to Kenya, definitely theater.
Yeah.
Theater and making the sets and making all of that. If I ask my parents, their earliest memory of me when they realized I was a standout kid is when I used to do the school plays, because I used to, people would be like, is the teacher in charge or is Lindsay in charge? Because I'd be like, no, you're meant to stand there. Because in my head I had pictured
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Talk about your own process of silencing those voices and just affirming yourself. What tools have you picked up along the way that are helping you with that?
Wow. This is a tricky one for me because I just recently came out of a very, very low mental slump, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's also good because it's fresh.
Yeah.
I'd say talking yourself out of stuff and kind of getting back into things is never easy.
Yeah.
Because like I said, as a creative, you find new ways to put yourself down. Then you have to come up with new ways to put yourself up because sometimes what you used to do before isn't working. Definitely the conversation you have with yourself is everything. If you're introspective enough to notice that conversation is going left, then that's the time you need to reach out. It's so important to have a community. I cannot stress this enough, especially people in our spaces, in our creative spaces, having a community is everything, because they probably relate to you more than anyone else is going to relate to. Family is great. They're great. They love you unconditionally. They'll be there to support you. But in terms of how you're actually feeling and why one specific part of your process is at a standstill and you keep roadblocking, that support group is one that's probably going to be able to relate to you. And probably going to tell you, you know what, maybe it's time to just be graceful with yourself a little bit. In my recent, I'd say slump, something that I really just had to do was to just let it ride out. It took a lot longer than expected. You know, the landlord was like, my friend, the rent needs to come. And I wasn't creating or anything, so I wasn't really making as much as I needed to. But having that support group, because my friends then realized, okay, Lindsay sometimes goes quiet, but now she's been quiet too long. So what's going on? And they just said, just tell us everything. And once I shared that, I had the best sleep I had had in weeks. And I realized I had found other ways to just keep holding back and give myself excuses that, you know what, I'll just figure it out. Because I haven't been one to always ask for help. It's something I'm working on. And asking for help has been the best thing that's ever happened to me. Ask for help. And ask for help with people who actually treat you with care.
What are some of the challenges of being self-employed? What are some of the notions and barriers that you first came across, and as time went by you've been able to break?
Right. I'd say the most important thing about being self-employed is remembering to give yourself an actual salary. A lot of the times when you have your own thing running, you're too focused on, I don't have enough supplies for this. I don't have, even when it comes to your pricing, you're not pricing in your own salary. And you need to be very honest with yourself and be like, listen, how much do I want to make every month? And let's say this is my own company. If I was being employed by someone else, how much would I be wanting to make? Given the fact that I know exactly how much this company is making because it's mine. A lot of the time we run quite low financially because we don't necessarily give ourselves a salary. And we don't mark up our prices because we have not given ourselves our own salary.
Just as you were talking about all that, I started thinking about art therapy. Where are we at in Kenya as far as art therapy, and what do you think about like art therapy as something that could help our population access emotional intelligence?
Right, I think, okay, you've asked 3 questions, I'll start with one. Where are we with art therapy? I would say I know very few practitioners that have art therapy in place when it comes to their practice, but I also can't say for sure that I know to what extent art therapy is going, because the wellness space and therapists and other practitioners are people I interact with often, but I can't say I know that many to have a better insight on how that's working. But I would say, can there be elements of art therapy, plugged in to different spaces? I think for the longest time, and it's very unfortunate that we have a whole generation here that had art taken out of their system, out of their school systems. I'm very fortunate enough to have been in school systems, even the Ugandan one, which a lot of people don't know about, and that's the one I did most of my time in, where they taught skill-based subjects. Skill-based subjects is very reassuring for your mental because you can look at something you created with your hands. I would consider a lot of that art therapy. We had woodwork where you had to make a little chair. So you get the wood, they teach you everything. By the end of the class, you have a little chair, and you're like, wow, I actually did that. And a lot of these other lessons, it's really just theory. The practical part of it only comes much, much, much later in your lives, and that's if you've decided to specialize in that thing. But when it comes to creative subjects like music and art, you're able to see your efforts almost immediately, and also learn from them, and also understand that it's not one way to do something. So it allows for you mentally to understand that some mistakes can be made, and those mistakes can actually turn out to be a really beautiful thing. And I'd say if we can keep having spaces where people can indulge in that kind of creative release, then a lot of people will find better ways to communicate, because art is communication, right? You know, you're putting what's in your mind down, or what you think is in your mind, because a lot of the times when you're starting out, you kind of don't know what to do, and you're kind of just figuring it out. But I don't think there's anywhere in art that you can go wrong. And I think we all need that as a safety.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you for your amazing time.
No worries. Thanks for coming through.
Now we can finish our food.
We can finish our food. We can finish up this piece.
Yes, exactly.
And then we can call it a day. Thanks for coming, Kirby.
Thank you for having me.
Yay.